broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans, producing after-shows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Oh, this is a good opening, this song.
It's pretty nice and chill, right? A little deep.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I feel like there's like a runway. It could be like a runway show or something with this.
Yeah,
like
totally.
a really tall, beautiful girl. Anyway.
I can see it.
Totally, right?
Yes.
Hi, guys. Welcome to another Spotlight On. I'm Ashley Daniels, here with actor, writer, producer, director, soon-to-be host. I don't know. I just threw that in there. He seems so natural with these mics on, with these earphones on. Zephyr Benson.
Yes.
I got it right. Oh,
yes. You got it right. What's up, AfterBuzz?
Let's give him a warm welcome. I mean, it's so cool. Your movie Straight Outta Tompkins just came out.
Yep.
A couple days ago. Congratulations.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah, March 6th. So
I really want to talk about this. I want to start by talking about this because this is just so interesting. First of all, you're so young. For you to have, this was your debut in directing and screenwriting, correct?
yeah, and to be honest, starring in a feature too. So it was my first starring role.
Pretty
Yeah,
amazing.
so.
And you played Gene.
Yes.
Can you tell us a little bit about Gene and where you got the inspiration to create Gene?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I basically felt, growing up in New York, it's so crazy. I mean, like, once those kids leave that apartment door, they raise each other. You know, it's not like, it's really not like any other place. And I really wanted to have Gene, Gene's a great kid, and he kind of just ends up in the wrong place at the wrong time and making the wrong decisions, and that's what I wanted to show. It's so easy to get dragged into that underworld of drugs and that fast life, and I wanted to show how it's right there. It's so easy. Yeah.
It is. And I think it's important to note that even though you said it in New York, this is an epidemic that goes on everywhere right now. There are so many beautiful, suburban towns that even parts of where I'm from Massachusetts, that are, there's so many hardcore drugs that these kids are getting involved in, and they're just getting addicted, and they're like 17, 18 years old.
Yeah, no, totally. It's an epidemic now, especially, with heroin. It's becoming scary, and no one really wants to address it. So, that's one of the reasons why I made it.
Now, did you feel that did you know anybody in your life that had done it, and you felt like you needed to kind of tell the story of that person, or did it just speak to you?
Ever since I was like 16 years old, I was involved with a group of kids who kind of took me under their wing, and I kind of felt like their younger brother, and, they were doing every drug imaginable, so nothing was taboo anymore. So I got to see that, and I, of course, had my own experience with drugs, but I made it out alive, so,
yes.
yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah,
thank God.
I know, yeah.
I mean, but to make something positive out of it is an incredible thing.
Thank you.
I have someone very close to me that was involved for a long time in drugs, and she, not to get personal, but she got out of it too, and tried to make something positive out of it. And I think it's so important that you take that experience and you do something positive with it, so that you don't look back and say, "Wow, wasted years." Exactly.
That's exactly what I wanted to do, and I wouldn't have made it if it wasn't real. I wanted to. There is there's some inside jokes in the movie. It's a very real movie. It shows drugs in a light that I feel like they've never been shown in before, and it just shows how easy it is, like I was saying, to get involved, especially nowadays, and when everything's getting younger and younger, and it's just crazy. It's a crazy world. So,
well, to make a movie out of it, it's pretty incredible.
Thank you.
Pretty incredible.
Thank you.
And it kind of reminded me a little bit of, remember 13? Remember the movie 13?
Yeah.
Kind of had that feeling to it. It was very real, like the trailer.
Yeah, totally.
But pretty amazing.
Thank you.
And now I just want to go back a little bit to how you got inspired to even start writing, acting. Let's go back to you working for your dad. Were you were a production assistant on set of Billy? Army.
Yeah,
with
yeah.
Army Hammer.
Yeah, with
Love
Army. Oh, Army is the best. Actually,
I can't even. Tell us a little bit about that, because that was kind of your inspiration to start producing, right?
Yeah, that was when I realized that this is what I was meant to do, and this is what, like, you know, this is what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. And I'd been on sets before that with my dad, and everything had been, you know, great, and I had loved it, but this was, like, the time. And especially, I talked to Army this morning, actually.
You did?
Yeah, shout out to Army.
Oh, my
I love
gosh.
the guy.
You should well, my boyfriend used to work with him.
Yeah?
Yeah, he's repped at the agency that my boyfriend works at. But
nice.
He was just with them the other night. So funny.
Nice, that's awesome.
He's such a down-to-earth guy.
He's so
I've never gotten a
amazing.
chance to meet him, but...
I suggest you do meet him because he's
bet,
an amazing guy.
I bet
Yeah.
it must have been so cool for you.
Yeah, no, totally. I mean, and he was one of the best influences in my life, at least, you know, like, because I think I was 15 when I met Army, and he just totally took me under his wing, and he just, like, it was awesome, and I just got to see him act, and I got to see him, you know, basically shine as a star and just be a totally down-to-earth person. He kind of, like, you know, he gave me some sort of, like, kick of confidence, which was really cool at the time. Yeah, no, it was great. He was like my older brother. Like,
That's amazing.
He was there for me, so he's a good guy.
Was that pre-Social Network?
Yeah, that was
Oh my
pre-Social Network.
gosh, that is so cool.
Yeah, I think he was 22, I think. So he's my age whenever I met him. Yeah.
Right.
So
oh my gosh, that's a long time you've known him.
A long time.
It's a good person to know.
Yeah,
that's a good inspiration to have, for sure.
Yeah, totally. He's a great guy. So.
But what was it, though, being on set, like, other than, you know, you're getting that bonding experience with Army and, you know, being with your dad? Your dad's very, do you want to tell everybody who your dad is and just a little bit about him?
Yeah. My dad's Robbie Benson. He's an actor. He's a writer. He's a director, and he's a producer. He basically has been involved in this industry for, you know, over 40 or 45, maybe. I don't even. He's been working since he was 10 years old, so it's pretty
awesome.
Crazy. Yeah, and he was the voice of the Beast and Beauty and the Beast, and he's done a lot of stuff.
Okay, I didn't know that.
Yeah. So
oh my god, that is amazing.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Oh
so.
my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, and he, you know, it's just growing up around him, and he's so into the art side of it, and so into, you know, just doing something right, and he just really. Growing up with a prolific father, it's just, you know, it's kind of like, I just feel like I have to be doing something anyway. I have to be making something. I have to be churning something out. So it was pretty amazing having him. So
you're with him. So obviously you're on set. He's inspirational, but he's your dad. So it's like you probably were so comfortable. Like it wasn't like, oh my gosh, with him like every 2 seconds. I'm sure you were used to him being so creative and everything.
Yeah.
You had Army there. But was there anything else about just the set because being a production assistant's not glamorous by any means. Long hours.
No,
you know?
Yeah. I mean, I got to it was cool because I was a PA, but at the same time, I got to, like, also some days, you know, I'd go and I'd be in the makeup department, I'd go and I'd be in the art department, I'd just go and I kind of watch, and I just watch all these departments come together and just create, just the way that they would come together and make something, you know, make this piece of art, and just it was like a summer camp. It was incredible. It was, you know, everyone's just working on the same thing, everyone wants the same thing, and it's a beautiful feeling. It's like, it's being involved in something larger than yourself, you know, so it's that's why I started loving film.
And your mother is a singer and actress as well.
Yeah.
Shout out
Shout out to
here.
Mom. Carla DeVito. Thanks, Mom.
That is amazing. So you had it from both sides.
Yes.
It was inevitable that this was going to happen for you.
Yeah.
Come on. It was in your blood.
I guess so, yeah. Seriously.
There was like no way you could fail anyway. It's like you were programmed to do this. But I mean, but I think also, you know, you wanted to do it.
Yeah,
so
no, totally.
It's so amazing.
Yeah.
When you see someone from a family like that actually, you know, they want to do it as well, and they do it so well. It's such a young age, 22, crazy. Yeah. But so now going into you went to New York City in 2004 because your parents had the musical Open Heart.
Yeah. So, we were in there in 2004. We're like a bunch of gypsies. Basically, in New York, I've probably lived in 12 different apartments. You know, like we jumped around. We were in North Carolina for a little bit. We were all around. And my parents, you know, once they left New York and I stayed in the city, they went to Massachusetts, and they were in Indiana. My dad's teaching at IU. They're just always jumping around. So it's like, it's pretty crazy. But I grew up in New York, and that was where my formative years were spent, and that's where, you know.
That's so cool that you got to experience all different parts of New York. That is, to me, that's the most inspirational place that I've ever been, at least. I mean, even more than LA. It's just amazing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Everywhere you turn, there's just something kooky and crazy and awesome going on. It's just you can't take it all in if you tried.
Yeah, I know. It's a crazy place. It really is.
And you were living there. You were now taking classes. Explain. Your father was working at NYU at one point, correct? Teaching.
My dad was teaching at NYU. Yeah, and then he was teaching at NYU, and I was in high school, and I was going to this performing arts high school, and I didn't really have to be at every class. So
this is what I was trying to figure out. Like, how did he? Okay, so so you kind of
yeah. So I would basically. I didn't go to some classes, and I'd end up in his class, sitting at the back of his class.
At least it's a good excuse.
Exactly, yeah. So and he was teaching advanced production, so that's where I saw everything. It goes from pre-production to post-production, from taking it from an idea into something physical. So that's I just saw that year after year, and I acted in some of their films, and it went from me being so uncomfortable to being. Now, when I'm in front of the camera, everything's just like, it's so much better. So,
can we just talk about what it was like when you went back to high school? Like, how lame were those classes? You're like, I just came from NYU. What are you, like, I am so over this.
I know,
How did you even go back?
Yeah, I mean, it was a performing arts high school. So luckily my classes that I went back to were like, history of rock and roll, and I had some pretty
cool.
And photography, and so it was all right. But it was pretty cool. And then I went to NYU for I spent 2 weeks in class. So
really?
I was there for 3 months. I was in the dorm for 3 months, but I spent 2 weeks in class.
But this was the point where you got really inspired, and that's why you went. It wasn't like you went off to just hang out all day on your parents' couch.
Yeah. No, I was inspired, and I was writing, and I was no disrespect to NYU. I think NYU is great, and I think that its school is very necessary for some people. I just was blessed to have to grow up in the family that I did. But even some of the teachers were making me dislike what I wanted to do, and I didn't want to.
That's so interesting.
Yeah, and it was such a negative spin on it that I was like, by the time I get out of here, I'm not even going to want to make a film. So it was like, I didn't want anyone else to kind of be able to bring me down and be able to do that to my life. So I was.
I can totally understand what you're saying. There are so many times when I was in college that there were classes that I would take that were terrible. Yeah. But I'd already done an internship and it was amazing. So I'm like, you guys are ruining this for everyone that could potentially do this.
Exactly.
So I totally get you.
Yeah.
And it's great that you knew even at that age, this could potentially, this could be a hazard to my creativity.
Yeah, exactly.
You got yourself right out of the situation.
Completely. Yeah. So.
Really interesting.
Yeah, some people look at me as
fella.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I appreciate that.
So then you went off, and then what was the first writing? It wasn't Straight Outta Tompkins, right? From your 2 weeks out of college.
Straight Outta Tompkins was the first thing that I wrote out of college. I've written screenplays before in high school that I will never show anybody.
Oh, come on. I bet they're great. You're just really hard on yourself. So this was the actual first one you wrote.
That is the first, that is
17,
my, yeah.
Don't tell me you took, so you had to have written it for quite a while because it only took 17 days to actually make the film.
Yeah, it took 17 days to shoot it. I'd been keeping in, basically in, my, my black book or whatever. I'd been writing down notes about so many different characters and people that I was meeting, and all these experiences that I was having in New York. And as a writer, you go out and you gain experiences and you come back and you write about them, and that's how I feel. And that's what I was doing. So I did that for a year, and then once I felt like I was ready to write the story, I basically locked myself in my apartment and I spit it out in 4 to 6 weeks tops, and then I did student rewrites for a year. I made a.
What do you mean by that? Student rewrites?
Oh no, I was doing rewrites.
Oh, you were rewriting your own.
Yeah, exactly. No, I was. So I was put it down for a couple weeks, pick it back up, be like, no, I'm going to move that over there, move this over there, and then eventually, when we were about to make it, it was 120 pages, and our producer put it into the budget thing, and it came out, and it's $7 million, and we're like.
Okay, so you got to go back to people like me that have no idea what that is, because I'm sure there's a lot of people watching that maybe they want to do this. So first of all, you have to have some type of process for the screenwriting. You have to have some type of computer thing. Like, what is it?
Like,
what is it?
Like
not
Final
Microsoft
Draft
Word.
or like Screenwriter. Yeah. Or like Celtics or what. Yeah.
Okay.
There's yeah.
And your process, did you let anybody else edit it, or were you the type that's like, this is all mine?
No, I was very, like, it was a very personal thing for me, you know, and I was, especially with this one was like, if someone did want to make changes on it, like, you know, it was kind of like pulling hair.
Yeah.
So it was hard. I mean, we eventually was like, okay, to get this movie made, we need to cut 30 pages out of this script. And
That's
at that
really
point,
hard.
yeah, it was like, you know, it was like killing your baby. It's like, oh my God. But at the same time, it's really, you know, I wanted to show it and at least show some part of my vision, and that's what I did, so I got to do it.
And then you put it in a computer, you said, that makes you know the budget?
Oh, yeah, no, I honestly,
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, David Rudd, our producer, crunching numbers in the computer, figuring out the budget of our film when it was 120 pages, 130 pages, and it would have been $7 million on the like low amount. So
I cannot believe taking 30 pages out, because the budget ended up being what, 150?
Yeah, 150, 160, somewhere around there.
Those were very expensive 30 pages. Where was he? Like some type of like gold mine or something? Where did you put this guy?
Look, we had to do a lot of smart things. Like things like, we can't get a cop car. Like, we can't rent a cop car, so our cops for this one scene have to come in from off screen, and like, you know, things like that, where it's like, we can't shut this block down. We have to get around it. We can't throw money at problems. That's basically what it was. So it was us doing it bare bones and trying to make the best story we could, and that's, you know, I'm proud of it. So
is Lyric Films, that's your production company, right?
That's our production company.
Was that its first debut as well, like Lyric Films making their first production, or?
No, it's actually it's a family company. It's been around since before I was born.
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Yeah, Lyric is my sister's name, and my parents actually. Yeah, thank you. My parents made a movie called Modern Love. I think it came out in 90, 89, I don't know, something around there, but that was the first movie from Lyric Films, so yeah.
I feel like you think so differently, so out of the box, and it kind of reminds me of Lena Dunham a little bit, how she kind of broke the mold in so many ways.
Totally. I respect her completely.
I was going to ask, do you, because you just, I mean, you don't remind me of her.
Yeah, no, yeah.
But just she's like so opposite than everybody else in her way of thinking, and it's just so interesting and creative, and just, it's amazing.
Yeah, no, I have so much respect for her. Honestly, like, she is doing her thing, and like, props to that. And I really love her stuff, and I was actually talking about her this morning. She's very talented, and she's breaking boundaries, and she's showing people. A lot of people don't understand her, but that's because it's not the demographic, it's not the audience that understands those characters. Like, I can tell you right now, like, being in New York and seeing so many girls that came from out of state to New York, it's just almost weirdly. It's so real. It's weird.
It's
like, I mean, yeah, a lot of yeah.
It's amazing how it doesn't even seem like acting. So it's just, you could just tell it's just so organic. But
yeah.
Have you ever seen her?
No.
Around?
No, I've never seen her. No,
all you New York people, I feel like you all dine and have tea and crumpets together. You just all know one another. You and Trump and all that.
Yeah, we hang out. I'll just, look her up on speed dial.
But I totally see. I mean, that's just... So that's really cool, because I feel like there's not that many people other than her and you that are your age and accomplishing such unique productions and films. It's pretty cool.
Well, I want to change. I'm working towards changing cinema and sending into. I feel like we're on we're on the brink of an artistic revolution or something. I feel like the arts is really coming back, especially in this medium.
So what's your favorite, do you have a favorite movie just in life?
I mean, my favorite movie in life is, I have to say, Goodfellas, just because it was...
Can I high five you?
Yeah,
that's my favorite movie.
Okay, it's so fucking badass.
Yes.
Sorry, I don't know.
You used to call me funny? Am I here to make you laugh?
Am I funny? Am I funny?
Funny how?
Yeah, how? Come on, tell me.
That movie? Okay, you just became my favorite person.
Best friends.
Best friends for life. I love A Bronx Tale, too.
Yeah, no,
A Bronx
totally.
Tale.
Yeah,
and Casino, but nothing beats Goodfellas. Nothing.
No, I have to be
That
honest.
is so crazy. Favorite movie is Goodfellas.
Yeah.
And do you have a TV show right now that's your favorite?
To be honest, I really need to catch up on a lot of TV. I don't have one right now that I would say that I could... House of Cards. House of Cards. I saw House of Cards. I binge watched it last year around this time, I think. And I I think the 3rd season is out or coming out.
I'm on season 2. I just started season 2.
Season 1 was incredible.
Yeah, it was.
It was incredible. Season 2 is cool and I like it, but season 1 was just like, I could rewatch that. So
you're planning on moving out here.
Yeah.
Are you a person that would like to take acting classes, or are you somebody that's like, no, that's gonna...
You know, I used to be really like, no, I'm not gonna take any acting classes. Yeah. But
At least he's honest.
Yeah. But I totally am open to, like, it's that kind of stuff is fun anyway, just going and acting and just talking out characters with people who just are like-minded and think like you do. So I'm totally down for it. Yeah, I'm down with that kind of stuff. I like it. So
you think it's going to be, so you're moving here pretty soon?
Yes.
What's your plan? What's your next venture? Obviously you have so much going on right now, but what are we looking at for the next couple of months? I'm writing a film about the east side of Detroit. I spent a little bit of time there, and it's like a third world country. It's like one of the scariest places I've ever been. It makes New York look like the cleanest city in the world. Yeah, and so I had to write about it because that is also something that's just completely being overlooked. It's it's like that. It's crazy. There's an area called the Red Zone where the cops and the ambulances, they don't even go. They don't even go in. Yeah, so it's like, it is a crazy place. And I spent 10 days in literally the worst. Oh, you went there.
Oh, I was there. I went there.
Was Carla very happy about that?
Actually, funny story. She was not in the state, and I drove up in her Subaru all the way to Detroit. Yeah. Thank God it didn't get carjacked. Still,
yeah, that must have been beyond scary. I mean, did you go? You went by yourself?
I went with my buddy who is from Detroit, and he was older than me, and he's like, he's another one of my bigger brothers, and he's from 6 Mile. He's from the worst area in Detroit. I didn't even realize how bad I couldn't understand how bad it was until I was actually there. So it's very crazy, yeah.
And so you're writing a movie on this area right now.
As well, yeah.
So you have to go back, obviously, and film there.
Yeah.
Ooh,
yeah,
gosh.
So we'll get some security.
I was going to say. Oh my gosh, but that's amazing that you're shedding light on something that, like you said, is very overlooked.
Yeah, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to do in film. So
that is so interesting.
Thank you.
And so, other than that, is there anything else that you wanted to share about what you're doing right now in terms of, or what's anything else? Anything, whatever. It doesn't matter. What advice could you give, maybe?
What advice
for
could I
anybody
give?
that wants to do what you do?
Okay, go out and make your film and stop talking about it and just start doing it, because so many
piece of advice.
Yeah, so many people talk about it, and so many and people come and they'll hate on you all they want, but they're not doing it. So go make your movie, go make your thing, and go make your art, add to the world. Do something, for God's sakes.
What do you say about trying to raise money for producing? Do you have any word on that?
That's rough. That's rough. It's just, you got it, especially for a first-time director. I was lucky enough to, I dropped out of NYU, and I used my remaining, basically came up to my parents, as producers, I used my remaining tuition money that my dad had put away before he was even married, before I was ever born, because he knew he wanted kids. Yeah, so I was very lucky. I could use that, but raising money is hard, and it's hard to convince people who it's hard to convince people who to give you money. It's just that's kind of hard. It's not easy.
Do you have a secret?
Yeah, there's no secret. It's hard. If I find it out, I probably won't let you know.
But it is so true. You really hit that. It's so many people talk about it. I'm going to be an actor, especially out in LA.
Yeah.
And they talk and they talk and they talk and they don't do.
Yeah.
So just go out. Who cares if it doesn't come out good? At least you did it.
Exactly. You got to go and you got to put yourself on the line. You got to be in front of everyone.
Yep.
Yeah. So.
And so anything else you wanted to share? Anything else?
The movie comes out on video on demand on March 31st. Check it out.
Okay. On iTunes, was it?
On iTunes, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
And where can people find you on social media?
On social media, it's at Benson Zephyr on Twitter, and on Instagram, just Zephyr Benson.
Awesome.
Yeah, and on Facebook, that too.
I look forward to having you in LA now.
Thank you.
That is so
Thank
awesome.
you. Thank
Congratulations on all your success. I mean, I don't know how. You're 22. Oh my gosh, your parents must be so proud of you. And you must be so proud of you.
I try. Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
So
no,
cool.
I appreciate it. Thanks
so cool. Thank you so much for coming to AFTERBUZZ today.
Thank you.
And you can find me everywhere at Ashley Daniels on Twitter and Miss Ashley Daniels on Instagram. So I lied. You can't find me everywhere on Ashley Daniels. And we'll see you next time. Bye.
Thanks.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
See you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.